Okay, welcome everyone. It's been a few weeks now since I've made a video, so it's good to be back. I've been busy with life, so having a newborn has kept me busy, but really good busy. But I thought it's time to make another update video for Riot Racers. There's been a lot of news coming out. There's been a lot of information. Things have been moving very fast, particularly with a lot of that metaverse information coming out. So before I get stuck into that video though, I want to talk about, I guess, why I make these videos and I guess the time it takes. So by the time I script it, do the research, and then film, edit, these videos take a fairly long time. So that's why it takes a bit of time to get them out, particularly that I still have my day job and obviously with a baby. So going forward, one of the things that takes the most time is actually putting the graphics on screen. So a lot of the pictures and video. So I'll only be putting that on there if it's really necessary. So you'll be seeing a bit more of my face, but when it is necessary, I'll put some pictures and footage on there. So that's just to give you a little bit of background. I'm not with this YouTube channel. It's mainly focused on Riot Racers and bringing news, but I'm not looking to make a career out of YouTube. And so I'm going to be making videos that I enjoy making. If there's something I find really interesting in the NFT or the crypto or the gaming world, then I'll probably make a video about it. So if you enjoy those, obviously comment and let me know, because it's a good idea for me to get a sense of which videos you enjoy watching. But there'll certainly be plenty of Riot Racers news because things are really building up in that space. Okay, so let's start talking about Riot Racers. And as I said, it feels like things are getting pretty crazy. With all the metaverse and all the gaming NFTs booming, and Riot Racers have just been quietly going along doing their thing. So this video is just a bit of a dive to look at where the team has been going, what they've been working on up until about the start of November. And there's been some huge news. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Riot Owners Club. Now the Riot Owners Club was announced a while ago, but there's been some changes. And just to give you an overview, I'm going to read a quote from the white paper as to what the Riot Owners Club is. So it says, the Riot Owners Club is the gateway to all the benefits of owning Riot Racers game assets. The Riot Owners Club is intended to incentivize players to interact with the game more often. Players will need to log into the game each day and actively claim the reward. Unclaimed rewards will be lost forever. So that's what the Riot Owners Club is, and you can think of it as a bit of a loyalty program. So the original Riot Owners Club announcement, in a nutshell, was essentially that Crypto Whip owners got big rewards, everyone else got smaller rewards, and one of the most controversial things that the community didn't really like was that the Crypto Whip owners got early access to future drops, and that's probably a fair criticism. So as the team usually does, they listened to the community, went away, and took a good amount of time to actually come back and change the format of the Riot Owners Club. So I'll talk about that now. Okay, so I'll read from my notes here because there's a fair bit of information, but you can see on screen what the changes are. And there's a chart on there from the white paper. So they've pretty much taken away the early access to drops and they've rewarded Genesis owners across the board. So there's also an emphasis on holding Riot tokens and actually playing the game. These are both good changes as they incentivize holding the token and being an active member. I really like that the rewards are spread more evenly across car and track ownership so that new racers can more easily purchase a Genesis car or track to get decent rewards. Also bear in mind that the team has said that track land owners will be rewarded in the future metaverse. So that owning those track parts becomes more incentivized. As you go up in class of car, you'll receive higher Riot rewards and special edition car drops and loot boxes, which are usually a dirty word in games, but in this case, as long as they're not play to win, then bring them on, I reckon. Also, be aware that you'll be rewarded for every Genesis car you own. So if you own 10 cars, then you'll be rewarded with with those Riot tokens for every single one of those cars. And as you can see on screen, the ludicrous level is pretty cool. It seems almost impossible to get, but apparently someone has got pretty close or already earned it. I actually like that it's gamified, so it brings that incentive in to try and collect the cars, almost like Pokemon. Okay, so game development updates. So it appears, based on the announcements we've seen, that the developers have been busy working on the game logic and also the actual physical assets of the cars. So that's been their main priority, and trying to get out that beta before December, or on December 21st. And December is going to be a huge month for the team, because if they can release a functioning game, and George in the AMA recently said that when they release a beta, they see it as being at least 80% finished. So it should be give us a really good sense of what the game looks like. We can also see on screen now that there have been some car models. So we're seeing that they're fully rendering 3D car models. And this is pretty exciting, because originally we thought that we would not see any actual visuals in the game before the end of the year. The team announced a little while back that they're progressing faster than they hoped, and we will actually see visuals instead of just the data from the races and then the results afterwards. It was also interesting to learn from George in the AMA that the team's a bit larger than people first thought, and there's 16 developers, or 16 people working on the team, and that doesn't include the admins in the Discord either. So as I said before, if all goes to plan, December 21st looks like a big date, and when we might see that, we should see that beta release. Okay, so the Riot token, let's talk about that for a moment. So it's been released, that's pretty standard news, but it's also been released on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, and its market cap is over 5,500. So if you're one of those Alex Becker fans who loves those filthy degenerate gains, then this might be a coin that's right up your alley. So we know the coin was released at 10 cents. Currently it's sitting around 40 cents, give or take what day you look at it, but it's been pretty stable between the 30 and 40 cent mark and a little bit above. And of course we know that the coin will be rewarded to Genesis car owners, Genesis landowners, and also obviously anyone who's winning races and participating in races in the game. It's also that currency that is used across the whole metaverse that's upcoming, and also the currency that would be used across every part of the game. Okay, so future predictions on what we know about the coin so far would be that if the game becomes popular beyond, say, 5,000 people, and it's pretty likely that it will, then there should be a demand for the token, as it is such an important part of the game's economy. So I get the sense that it's not designed to go up massively in value, because it is such a part of the game's economy. It's more about a stable token that's used to buy things, do things across the game and across the future metaverse. But bigger brains would understand the tokenomics better than I would, and so they'd get a sense of how high the coin would go, or what likelihood it is of going up or down. But I would say it would stay fairly stable from what I've been reading from the team. But if you do have any questions or more detailed questions, there is an actual Riot Token channel on Discord that you can go to. So let's talk quickly about the Council of Racers voting. And this is where you can, it's an initiative from the team to allow the community to be a part of some of the decision making. At the moment, you only need 100 tokens to participate, but it's set that the more tokens you have, the more power you have in voting. And this is pretty standard in most publicly listed companies. So the number of shares or stocks you have, then the more say you have in the vote. So I actually quite like this idea that the more willing you are to be involved in the game, the more willing you are to hold the token, then the more say you have in those probably minor decisions that the team puts forward for you to vote on. And this goes back to holding the token is incentivized. So holding the token gives you more rewards in that Riot Owners Club across voting, and then obviously just holding the assets as well. Okay, so what do we know about the gameplay? Now, we've always known that it's more of a strategy game than a skill-based game, but it was good to hear from George and the recent AMA when he said, to quote, "The problem with skill-based games is that they exclude a lot of people if they're not skilled enough." He also compared the game to a mix of Need for Speed and then strategy games like Civilization and Command & Conquer, where it's a racing game, but it's more based around strategy than actual skill-based racing. And this focus on strategy is what drew me to the project from the start, because it elevated it from other NFT games in development. And as a time-poor adult, I don't have time to grind up and build up skill. Of course, mastering strategy does take time, but it's easier to get information online and get into the Discord community. It's more about gaining knowledge from a community around what's the best strategy, rather than having to grind up for skill. So when it comes to the team and community, it's hard to compare unless you're really in a lot of other communities. There have certainly never been any concerns from me, and the team is consistently working towards the goal of a polished community-focused game. And it was good to see the creative director George on video, so we're actually be able to put a face to a name and fully doxing himself. And he seemed like a pretty cool guy. And this gives more trust in the team and the project, being able to see actual real people and talking to them and listening to them. As I've stated before, there are the usual risks of obviously investing in any NFT gaming project, but I still haven't seen any red flags. There's never been anything in the months I've been pretty involved in this project as far as a community member that have concerned me at all. They're making really good progress, and if anything, they're making better progress than what they've promised. And to finish this section off, I just want to remind people about that metaverse that's already been announced by the team, and this fits in with the hype around NFT metaverses. And George did again talk in the AMA about the idea that the team could have used a current metaverse like Decentraland or Sandbox, but using their own gives them a lot more freedom to do what they want to do and to build it out, to flesh it and make it actually functioning, where they're a lot more restricted using an existing metaverse from another developer. So let's talk about marketing, and this has been an area that I've had a few questions around, because the project has seemed to gain slower traction than some other similar projects that are nowhere near as good. But it's good to hear that the team has been working behind the scenes with various partnerships and promotional initiatives, to state the AMA. These usually take a bit of time to execute on, but they hope to be able to finalize the announcement about these partnerships in the coming weeks, especially around the release of Apollo, which is that NFT drop, that non-NFT drop that's coming out. One thing that I've been interested in is thinking about, I know Metacan and a few of the other people who are part of the team are part of CyberCongs, and using that alpha might be a really good idea to spread the word. And they probably already do that, or it might be that they don't feel comfortable, I guess, promoting their project within the CyberCongs universe, but that might, or CyberCongs Discord, but that might be a good way to promote the project as well. Some other ways, and this sounds self-serving, but promoting videos or channels like, I guess, this one, and also the Cobra Free Roll, that YouTube channel, and this obviously my YouTube channel. If you're in the Discord community, even if you're just liking the video, subscribing, and understand how this sounds self-serving, but as I said, any YouTube video that's giving information about Riot Racers, that's a really good way for us as a community to promote the project. And of course, promoting the project in other Discord channels you're a part of, and not shilling, but just mentioning it. But I suspect when December comes, that organic growth will explode, just when people start to see the gameplay and to actually see how good the project is once they start to sort of dive in a little bit. So to finish this marketing part of the video, one thing I really liked was that George said in the AMA, the team decided they didn't want to go hard early on promotions because they didn't feel that it was a good idea to promote a game that hadn't even been released yet or didn't have gameplay. So I think that's something I really respect about them, and it shows a good ethical long-term approach from the team. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a list of smaller announcements or information that we've heard about since my last video. So the official YouTube channel from the team has announced, so I'll put the link to that below, and they've already put a really cool video in there, which I'll talk about at the end because it's just dropped just as I was going to film this video. Riot Racers, Metacan announced they've also bought RiotRacers.com, which is the domain name, and they paid $18,000 to sign that, so that shows a good long-term commitment to the project. We know there was the AMA on November 1st, and a few quick things. So the beta release timeline's unchanged. As I said, it's the 21st of December. People will be able to rent out their cars to other people to drive. So that's been announced as well. And they're also in talks with several exchanges to list the RIOT token. And transferring your RIOT tokens from Discord will be available with a lower fee via Polygon. So that was a big issue, is with the higher fees on the main Ethereum layer, was to transfer any RIOT tokens you had on the Discord cost a lot of gas, whereas they're working towards allowing to do that on Polygon, which is essentially close to zero gas fees. They're also, this one's an interesting one, they're also in talks with car manufacturers to try and get licensed cars. And we know they've already done this with a DeLorean, so there's a good precedent that this could be done. And if this starts to happen with even just a few of the Genesis cars, this could be huge for the game. Riot Racers merchandise is also in the works, so that'll be pretty cool. And as we know, the Apollo drop is coming, but thankfully the team has said that the beta is a priority, or George has said the beta is a priority. So they're trying to find that balance between having enough players, so the Apollo drop may be dropping some of the assets so that new players come in, but then also having the beta priority on that beta release in December. One other thing, you may have noticed that on OpenSea there are some cars that are tagged as do not buy asset on hold, and those are cars that were purchased nefariously at the last drop through the back door. So they've been frozen and tagged by the depths, but you can get more info about that in the channel as well. So that was something that happened at the last drop. Okay, where would I start if I was getting into Riot Racers now? So the floor price is 0.12 ETH, which has gone up quite a bit. So that's a good sign, I guess, for the project, that there's a lot of interest and people are not willing to sell. And that's probably come from the announcement of the Riot rewards that Genesis holders will get. But that's still a fairly low entry point compared to a lot of other projects. So that's where I would start, is to get a floor car if you were getting into the project just now. Now, if you have a bit of spare ETH in the mechanic shop, there's currently one on the floor at 2.75, and that's actually pretty low compared to, it's a pretty thin floor, which means from 2.75, there's only about 5 or 6 mechanic shops before it jumps up quite a bit. And that's got a long-term potential as a passive income within the game once it releases. Also, getting some Riot is a good idea, and maybe looking at racetrack land. So when you have, say, a Genesis car, some racetrack land, and 200 Riot tokens, that's a really good way to get into that Riot Owners Club, and not too big an investment to get into the game fairly early still. And of course, if you wanted to go next level, then the crypto whips are there, but they would be, I guess you would need a lot of ETH, and you'd need to be really committed to the game at this stage to get into that, particularly before the game releases. But once the game releases and we start to see some success, I suspect that those crypto whips will be in high demand and their price will be pretty hard to get into. Okay, so there's some really big news dropped just as I was going to record this video, and that was around the idea of actual having driver avatars in the game. This is massive. So as I said, I haven't had time to write the script, but also I'll talk sort of just off what I've seen on the Discord announcements. And there's also that video on the official Riot channel, which I'll put on screen at the moment. So this is a huge one, and what I really like about it is that the project now has unique avatars or an NFT that you could display like you could any other NFT project. So people, and I was displaying my car, but having an actual unique driver with unique attributes would be really cool. And they've got those attributes of fire, water, wind, and earth. And then there's, like as I said, they're similar to any profile picture avatar, but then they are an integral part of the game. So they will add to the strategy of the game. You'll also be able to use them in your metaverse. You'll be able to trade them. So this is a really big deal, having those avatars or those driver avatars in the game. And what you can do, or what you do, is you have your car, you have your driver, you put them together, and then you enter the races. You can also rent out your driver and rent out your car to other people to use. So that's a really some really big news, which I'll talk about in more detail in another video.
Did you really think they would stop at just cars? Who's your driver?
So final thing, I want to quickly talk about the state of, I guess, NFT YouTube or NFT gaming YouTube. And at the moment, you've got a large number of people just smashing through different projects, and they're releasing videos almost every day and just saying, oh, these are the videos, or these are, sorry, the projects that are up and coming, and this is what you should look at. Then you've got people like Alex Becker, who are a little bit, will release a little bit slower, and they'll research their projects in a bit more care. And then one person who I really like, and he's called Giancarlo Buys Token. So I'll put a link to his videos below. They're some of the best NFT videos I've seen on YouTube, and they've sort of inspired me to go the direction that I want to go with my videos, which is to, rather than be just trying to chase the latest flip and to look at what's the next big thing coming out. similar to what I've been doing with Riot Racers, which is focusing on a project long term, I'm also going to focus on looking at some NFT projects that I hold or I'm really interested in and doing some deep dives. And they might be projects that have been around for quite some time. And it's to try to get away from that culture of just chasing the next big project and flipping, rather thinking, what are these projects that are here to stay, and giving you a bit more information on them. So I enjoy doing that. If you enjoy the videos when I release them, let me know. So one of the first ones I'm going to look at is the Jungle Freaks NFT project. And I've really been interested in the story around that's developed around that project. And another one I want to look at is the response on YouTube to Solana and Solana's NFT ecosystem, because I think it's really interesting and it probably hasn't been given enough coverage. So, really long video. Thanks for hanging around, and I will see you in the Discord channel. Okay, bye for now.